One morning in June, some 20 years ago, I was born a rich man's son. I had everything that money could buy, but freedom I had none. I've been looking for freedom. I've been looking so long. I've been looking for freedom. Still the search goes on. I've been looking for freedom since I left my hometown. I've been looking for freedom. Still it can't be found. I headed down the track, my baggage on my back. I left the city far behind. Walking down that road with my heavy load, trying to find some peace of mind. Father said, you'll be sorry, son, if you leave your home this way. And when you realize the freedom money buys, you'll come running home someday. I've been looking for freedom. I've been looking so long. I've been looking for freedom. Still the search goes on. I've been looking for freedom since I left my hometown. I've been looking for freedom. Still it can't be found. I paid a lot of dues, had plenty to lose, traveling across the land. Worked on the farm, got some muscle in my arm, but still I'm not a self-made man. I'll be on the run for many years to come. I'll be searching door to door, and given some time, someday I'm gonna find the freedom I've been searching for. I've been looking for freedom. I've been looking so long. I've been looking for freedom. Still the search goes on. I've been looking for freedom since I left my hometown. I've been looking for freedom. Still it can't be found. I've been looking for freedom. I've been looking so long. I've been looking for freedom. Still the search goes on. I've been looking for freedom since I left my hometown. I've been looking for freedom. Still it can't be found.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and applaud for the President of the Republic of Basque, Creeper Antilles. This is Basque's Day. This is Democracy's Day. A day of history and of hope, of renewal and of resolve. Through a crucible for the ages, Basque has been tested anew and Basque has risen to the challenge. Today, I officially announce that I am running for re-election to the presidency of the Republic of Basque. The will of the people has been heard before, and the will of the people will be heard again. Since the Civil War, we have learned that democracy is precious. Democracy is fragile. And at this hour, my friends, democracy has prevailed. So now, on this hallowed ground where just years ago the tyrannical monarch which once reigned over our land sought to shake our very democratic foundation, We come together as one nation, under God, indivisible, to carry out the peaceful transfer of power that we may see for many, many more centuries. We look ahead in our uniquely Volskian way, restless, bold, optimistic, and set our sights on the nation we know we can be and must be. You know the resilience of our constitution and the strength of our nation. When I am re-elected, I will retake the sacred oath each of the patriots took, an oath I first swore myself many moons ago. But the Volskian story depends not on any one of us, not on some of us, but on all of us, on we the people, who seek a more perfect union. This is a great nation, and we are a great people. Over the centuries, through storm and strife, in peace and war, we have come so far, but we still have far to go. We will press forward with speed and urgency, for we have much to do in this winter of peril and possibility. Much to repair, much to restore, much to heal, much to build, and much to gain. Few periods in our nation's history have been more challenging or difficult than the one we're in now. A cry for racial justice some 400 years in the making moves us. The dream of justice for all will be deferred no longer. A cry for the survival of the planet comes to us. A cry that can't be any more desperate or any more clear. And now, a rise in political extremism, white supremacy, domestic terrorism that we must confront and we will defeat. To overcome these challenges, to restore the soul and to secure the future of Varsk requires more than words. It requires the most elusive of things in a democracy: unity. Uniting our people and uniting our nation. I ask every Volskian to join me in this cause, uniting to fight the common foes we face: anger, resentment, hatred, extremism, lawlessness and violence, disease, joblessness and hopelessness. With unity we can do great things, important things. We can right wrongs, we can put people to work in good jobs, we can teach our children in safe schools, we can overcome this deadly virus. We can reward work, rebuild the middle class, and make healthcare secure for all. We can deliver racial justice, we can make Varsk once again the leading force for good in the world. I know speaking of unity can sound to some like a foolish fantasy. I know the forces that divide us are deep and they are real, but I also know they are not new. Our history has been a constant struggle between the Volskian ideal that we are all created equal and the harsh, ugly reality that racism, nativism, fear and demonization have long torn us apart. This battle is perennial and victory is never assured. In each of these moments, enough of us came together to carry all of us forward, and we can do so now. History, faith and reason show us the way of unity. We can see each other not as adversaries but as neighbours. We can treat each other with dignity and respect. We can join forces, stop the shouting and lower the temperature, for without unity there is no peace, only bitterness and fury. No progress, only exhausting outrage. No nation, only a state of chaos. This is our historic moment of crisis and challenge. Unity is the path forward. And we must meet this moment as the Republic of Varsk. If we do that, I guarantee you we will not fail. We have never ever failed in Varsk when we have acted together. And so, today, at this time and in this place, let us start afresh, all of us. Listen to one another, hear one another, see one another, show respect to one another. Politics not need be a raging fire destroying everything in its path. Every disagreement doesn't have to be a cause for total war. And we must reject a culture in which facts themselves are manipulated and even manufactured. My fellow Volskians, we have to be different from this. Varsk has to be better than this. And I believe Varsk is better than this. Just look around. Here we stand, where a mere 4 years ago, at the inauguration of the first Prime Minister of our former monarchy. People chanted in the support of the return of some form of democracy, a democracy which was later stripped from us, and a democracy for which we fought for once more. Don't tell me things can't change. Here we stand, just years after the events that I just described happened, after the monarchy tried to take away our freedom and our democracy. That will not happen ever again. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. And to all those who will support our campaign, I am humbled by the faith you have placed in us. And to all those who will not support us, let me see this. Hear me out as we move forward. Take a measure of me and my heart. And if you still disagree, so be it. That's democracy. That's vast. The right to dissent peaceably within the guardrails of our republic is perhaps our nation's greatest strength. Yet hear me clearly. Disagreement must not agree to disunion, and I pledge this to you. I will continue to be a president for all Varskians. I will fight as hard for those who did not support me as for those who did. Many centuries ago, a saint of the Catholic Church wrote that a people was a multitude defined by the common object of their love. And what are the common objects we love that defined us? I think I know. Opportunity, security, liberty, dignity, respect, honour, and yes, the truth. Recent years have taught us a painful lesson. There is truth and lies, lies told for power and for profit. Each of us has a duty and responsibility as citizens, as Varskians, and especially as leaders who have pledged to honour our constitution and protect our nation, to defend the truth and to defeat the lies. I understand that many Varskians view the future with some fear and trepidation. I understand their worry about their jobs, about taking care of their families, about what comes next. But the answer is not to turn inward, to retreat into competing factions, distrusting those who don't look like you do, or worship the way you do, or don't get their news from the same sources as you do. You must end this uncivil war that pits red against blue, rural versus urban, and conservative versus social democrat. We can do this if we open our souls instead of hardening our hearts. If we show a little tolerance and humility, if we're willing to stand in the other person's shoes for just a moment, because here is the thing about life. There is no accounting for what fate will deal you. There are some days when we need a hand, and there are other days where we're called upon to lend one. This is how we must be with one another. And if we are this way, our country will be stronger, more prosperous, and more ready for the future. My fellow Varskians, in the work ahead of us, we will need each other. We will need all our strength to persevere through this dark winter. We are entering what may well be the toughest and deadliest period of our country's history. We must set aside the politics and finally face any threat we find as one nation. I promise you this, as the Bible says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. We will get through this together. The world is watching us today. So here is my message to those beyond our borders. Varsk has been tested, and we have come out stronger for it. We will repair our alliances and our relations with the world, and engage with it once more, not to meet yesterday's challenges, but today's and tomorrow's. We will lead not merely by the example of our power, but by the power of our example. We will be a strong and tested partner for peace, progress, and security in the Pacific. We have been through so much in this nation. It is a time of testing. We face an attack on democracy, on truth, growing inequality, the sting of systemic racism, a climate in crisis, and the question with regards to Varsk's role in the world. Any one of these would be enough to challenge us in profound ways, but the fact is we face them all at once, presenting this nation with the gravest of responsibilities. Now we must step up, all of us. It's a time for boldness, but there is much to do so, and this is certain. We will be judged, you and I, for how we resolve the cascading crises of our era. Will we rise to the occasion? Will we master this rare and difficult hour? Will we meet our obligations and pass along a new and better world for our children? I believe we must, and I believe we will. and when we do, we will write the next chapter in the Varskian story. Let us add our own work and prayers to the unfolding story of our nation. And if we do this, then when our days are through, and our children's days are through, and our children's children's days are through, their ancestors, their successors will say that they gave us their best, and they did our duty. They healed a broken land. My fellow Varskians, I close today where I began, with a sacred oath. Before God and all of you, I give you my word. I will always level with you. I will defend the Constitution. I will defend our democracy. I will defend Varsk. I will give my all in your service, thinking not of power, but of possibilities, not of personal interest, but of the public good. And together we shall write a story of hope, not fear, of unity, not division, of light, not darkness, a unique story of decency and dignity, of love and healing, of greatness and goodness. May this be the story that guides us, the story that inspires us, the story that tells ages yet to come, that we answered the call of history and we met the moment, that democracy and hope, truth and justice did not die on our watch, but thrive. That our Varsk, our fatherland, secured liberty at home and stood once again as a beacon to the world. That is what we owe our forebears, one another, and generations to follow. So with purpose and resolve, we turn to the tasks of our time, sustained by faith, driven by conviction, and devoted to one another, and to this country we love with all our hearts. May God bless Varsk, and may God bless Ukraine. Thank you all.